over 31,000 people have crossed from the United States into Canada at a non-official point of entry and subsequently claimed asylum since January 2017, when Justin Trudeau famously tweeted out #welcome to Canada, without any sort of plan to deal with these people when they came here. And by that, I mean, in the context of his huge deficit budget and increased taxes, he really didn't have a plan to deal with what would happen when they needed spaces to live. And since then, we've seen the homeless shelter crisis in Toronto. He really didn't have a plan to deal with all the resources needed to process work permits for people who were illegally entering the country. And so he had to expend a bunch of resources on that. He didn't have a plan to deal with what would happen when the Quebec government or the Ontario government said, hey, we need hundreds of millions of dollars to deal with this. And I could go on and on and on. Justin Trudeau does not have a plan to deal with this situation. And there's no end in sight. We still see, this month alone, over 1,000 people, 1,200 people in June, illegally crossed the border from Canada from the United States into Canada and then claimed asylum. But because Justin Trudeau doesn't want you to be questioning him on any of the big issues that I just mentioned, he doesn't want to answer any of the questions on how he plans to pay for all of the costs associated with this issue. He doesn't want to answer questions about the fact that this is the highest level of unplanned immigration in recent Canadian history. He doesn't want to answer any questions about what he plans to do to bring Canada's immigration system back to order. He is trying to use the media to change the debate rather than from one on policy to one on terminology. And this is why you've seen all sorts of media articles and a big media blitz from Justin Trudeau's ministers to say that using the term illegal is actually fear-mongering and incorrect. So I wanted to put this video together so you could actually understand what's happening here. So first of all, the term illegal. So I think it goes without saying that and I don't think any of you would actually do this, but if you attempted to enter Canada from the United States at a non-official point of entry, you'd probably be worried about what would happen to you because you would be doing so illegally. And it is in fact illegal to enter Canada at a non-official point of entry under the Customs Act. And it's why there's these giant, great big signs at the Canadian border saying that it is illegal to enter the country at a non-official point of entry. But you don't have to take my word for it. Watch what happened when a senior government security official at our official parliamentary committee was asked about whether or not it is illegal to enter Canada at a non-official point of entry.
So under Section 133 of the Act,
Yes.
specifically states that they're not committing an offense under various sections of the criminal code. Are you telling me that IRPA is incorrect?
No, what I'm saying is that my interpretation of the IRPA is that they are committing an offense under the Customs Act. But under IRPA, under Section 133, we cannot take any actions in respect to that offense until the full asylum process is completed.
So just to break that down for you, it is absolutely illegal for someone to enter Canada at a non-official point of entry. There's absolutely no debate about that whatsoever. What the department official said is the problem is that because these people are coming and illegally crossing the border and then claiming asylum, they can't really do anything about it because people are allowed to claim asylum in Canada even if they've illegally entered the country. So this is really where the core of the issue is at, because I've come to you, I've given you many videos explaining the fact that we have an agreement with the United States called the Safe Third Country Agreement that prevents people from claiming asylum in each of our countries if they had already reached the other one. So what's happening here is that people have already reached the safety of the United States. They're illegally entering the country, and then they're claiming asylum. Now, why are they doing that? They're doing that because that agreement that I just mentioned has a loophole in it. It only applies at official points of entry. So people are crossing illegally enter Canada and then claiming asylum because they want to take advantage of that loophole. If they came at an official point of entry, most of them would be turned back. So this is why it's very important to ensure that we're talking about the fact that people are entering the country illegally. Again, it is illegal to enter Canada from the United States at a non-official point of entry. Now, Again, you don't have to take my word for it. Watch the immigration minister himself, the public safety minister, and the prime minister use the term illegal to describe how people are entering Canada and then claiming asylum.
Secondly, let me make the point emphatically that coming across the border in a way that tries to circumvent the law or defy proper procedure is no free ticket to Canada.
Thank you, Minister. Questions on the border crossing from the United States to Canada. You've used the word irregular, but almost everyone else uses the word illegal. Mr. Cormier, Ms. Alisav, and others have used the word illegal. Which is it, and why?
I'm happy to use illegal if...
Yeah, because it is illegal.
I have, just to answer your question quickly, I have used the word illegal and I have used the word irregular, and I think both are accurate.
Well, I don't think irregular is.
The honourable member for Provencher.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister misled many would-be migrants to illegally cross the border. In response to a problem of his own making, the Prime Minister is throwing Canadian tax dollars at a problem with no concrete plan. And yesterday, the Prime Minister refused to even commit to a plan. Can the Prime Minister tell this House, does he believe it is wrong to illegally cross the border and jump the queue?
Good question. Right honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, not only have I answered that question today, I've answered it many times over the past months. Crossing a border between official border crossings is illegal.
Okay, so the immigration minister and all of Justin Trudeau's minister, and Justin Trudeau himself has used the term illegal. So why the big push to try and call it irregular? Well, in recent days, the situation has gotten so bad because the government of Ontario, the government of Quebec, major municipal leaders such as John Tory and Jim Watson are all calling on the federal government to give them more money because of the demand on social programs that these people have. We didn't have a plan for this under Justin Trudeau when he tweeted #Welcome to Canada or when Toronto was declared a sanctuary city. So it's easier for them politically to make the debate about illegal versus irregular rather than putting together a plan to manage the situation. Now, in the last few days, especially now that you've watched the government actually use the term illegal, they've started to call people fearmongers or divisive. In fact, Jerry Butts in a tweet, that's of course the Prime Minister's right-hand man, just called incoming Immigration Minister in Ontario, Lisa MacLeod, alt-right because she dared to address the situation and to ask the government for how they plan to pay for these programs. She even said that over $90 million has been spent on welfare payments for people who have illegally entered Canada and then claimed asylum. So that's not a really popular political topic for Justin Trudeau to want to talk about. And this is why he's now using language such as fear-mongering, hysteria, and division, because he's trying to take away our voice from being able to question him on what the actual aspects of his non-existent plan is. Watch what happened in a committee meeting. This is an emergency committee meeting that I forced this week when a Liberal got up to speak, and listen to the language that he uses.
And the reason I say this is not because these numbers may go up and down, but the reason I say this is because a lot of what we're hearing is based on a great deal of hysteria and misinformation and really, I think, trying to divide Canadians in terms of this issue. And I think it'll be very important that just getting to the motion, I think it's very important to study this issue. I think it is important to study it this summer, and we have no particular opposition against it.
It's completely unacceptable and un-Canadian for people to call parliamentarians hysterical when all we're looking for is answers on how Justin Trudeau plans to both pay for and perhaps reduce the demand on the system created by the illegal border crossing crisis. That's my job as the Shadow Minister for Citizenship and Immigration, and I'm pleased to do that for you. So, it is illegal to enter Canada at a non-official point of entry from the United States of America. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Working hard for you in Ottawa. Have a great day.